You're listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. How's it hanging? What is up? It doesn't really sound good, huh? How's it hanging? Like, I'm trying to bring it back, but I don't think it works. All right, so here, changing up the video again, temporarily anyway. Yeah, I just had to move stuff a little bit more from the last one. And then this chair was actually my parents. And I don't know, long story short, so it's here and needed a kind of place for it, and I needed a comfier chair. It's a glider though. It doesn't really, I mean, it works and it's good enough for now. I don't know. But so here I am doing a podcast looking all comfy. All right. But yeah, so just kind of see how that goes. Anyway, what's up? Let's see, let me pull up my notes. I think I was going to talk about, I had some stuff, but let me see. I don't know, how am I going to, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. You should have I don't know, whatever. I'm going to get a web camera that's a little better, but then I think I'm going to end up losing my filter. I like my filters. I don't know. I'm stupid. Let me know. Is it good to have the filters, or should I just have regular video like most everybody else? I guess I could do both, huh? I could do, well, not both, but if I had a web camera, couldn't I do two cameras at once? Oh, but then I'd have to do OBS on. I don't want to do that crap. All right, anyway. Some stuff going on. I talked about... Did I talk about the cop with the cooler? I did, right? Yes, I did. I did not delete that. Whoops. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I just did one, yesterday? Just been kind of familiarizing, that's not a word. Yeah, it is. Familiarization, familiarizing. That's a word, right? Anyway, I've been playing with Affinity, and, I have some experience. I did a podcast a year or so ago where I was talking about Adobe programs, and I just hate the whole subscription crap, and, I bitched about it. If you want to know, go look it up. I think it's called like Adobe programs and how I hate them, or I hate Adobe programs or something. I can't remember. I don't know if this is going to work, man. I'm like rocking back and forth. It's going to work, right? Trying to get the best. I don't know. This is a decent mic, but I kind of think maybe I should get something else. Anyway, so yeah, I've been playing with the Affinity because I enjoy doing some graphic design stuff. But man, I tried Inkscape. Did I talk about this last time? Gosh, I hate. Anyway, that's kind of the thing. But yeah, I did some other stuff and it just didn't work, man. And so this Affinity seems to be, it's awesome, man. It's just it runs so much smoother. So I'm actually happy about that. Gives me something to do. I feel like I talked about this is like a repeat of my last episode, so I'm gonna not talk about it too much. But anyway, so let's see. What else? I'd like to go over a couple headlines before I talk about whatever. But there was I just heard one of my dogs. It's almost time to feed them. I don't know if they're getting hungry. Now they made me forget. Anyway, so I saw that there's like a couple who are, I don't know if they're atheists or what, but they have a 5-year-old son, and he was like afraid of the dark and everything, right? This was like a post that somebody commented, so they told the story or the background, and so he was like afraid of the dark and stuff. He started watching VeggieTales on Netflix, which I guess is only in the States right now because it's not on here. And for those that don't know, VeggieTales is cartoon vegetables that, replay various stories from the Bible. They change it up a little bit and this and that, but it's to kind of teach kids about God and the Christian faith and everything like that. So apparently, these people who are either atheists or just don't, they're not religious at all, but their son watches the show, loves the show. He's no longer afraid of the dark because he knows that God has him. God will protect him or do whatever the case is. It's in God's hands, and God, you know what I mean? Which is great for a 5-year-old. But it's kind of crazy that the parent is like freaking out about it. They're like, what do I do? I don't know what to do. It's like, what do you mean what to do? I mean, you should be kind of happy that but that's kind of crazy though. But I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about it. I was like, what if, my kids are, I didn't bring up my kids in a religious household, not until now or within the last couple of years. And it sucks. I wish I was a devout Catholic from the beginning and brought them up that way. But, how it happened. Better late than never. I don't know. But I mean, they go to a Catholic school and they, I don't know if they're like, I know they're not where they should be as far, but they're not like in denial or like they don't hate it. They don't, oh my gosh, they're kind of what children I would kind of assume are. And then in the future they'll either stop going to church or they'll go to church more, especially when they start having a family of their own. But so we go to mass together, although this last Sunday my wife and I were out of town, so we went to mass at a different church, and the kids, they didn't go. But I don't know, I was kind of thinking about, so the story, like, where the parents are freaking out about this, and I was just like, dude, what? That's insane. But then I was kind of like, I was trying to look at it objectively and be like, okay, if my kids suddenly were like, I think this is all hogwash, and, I don't think it's whatever, this and that, blah, 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 and they didn't want to go anymore. I mean, they're old enough to kind of go there. I mean, I would try and explain to them, or maybe try and be like, yo, no, you're wrong, But I mean, ultimately it's up to them, right? I can't force them. So I guess, I don't know. But the thing is like, your kid was afraid of the dark and now they're not. That kind of tells you something, right? That tells you that there's something to it, I don't know. At least that's kind of how I kind of saw it. But anyway, so the Super Bowl happened, right? I didn't watch Super Bowl. I don't think I talked about this in the last podcast. I might have briefly brought it up, but so I watched the the Turning Point USA halftime show, and it was fine. It was all right. I mean, they had 2 months to do it. It was fine. The first band, it's like a country band, but I didn't recognize them. I got to look them up. And then Kid Rock did his thing a little bit, and he did some lip syncing though. Lip syncing. Man, I swear this is not alcohol. But you could he was doing. He either had his like a backup, but it was just for the beginning. The first song, his first big song, that bow to bow. I can't remember how it goes. So I don't know if he was just kind of karaokeing that or just kind of saving his for later. But he did sing some of the other songs. I think he did 2 songs after that. So I mean, it was a pretty small little concert, but it wasn't bad. But it was like, it is what it is. I hate saying that, but like I said, 2 months to prepare. That's, I think they did pretty good with just 2 months. But thing is it did pretty well. So I'm assuming they're probably gonna do it again next year. And to be fair though, I mean, what's his face, Bad Bunny? I know there was kind of like a big thing. Some people thought it was because he was like Puerto Rican, and like, oh, he's a foreigner. It's like, dude, foreign people. Ricky Martin, didn't he do the Super Bowl one time or something? So what is he talking about? I don't. Some people, no, that's not it so much. As far as I can tell, it's because he likes to burn the American flag and he wears dresses and stuff, which is, And then I guess his halftime show was all in Spanish. So like, what? This country we speak English. So I think that was kind of a thing too. Maybe I don't know if that got out. Like people knew he was gonna do that, and they didn't want that. I don't know, but it's almost like, dude, they should have had a sign language interpreter following him around. Dancing with them, alongside him, doing the sign language for people. For us, people who are deaf, they don't speak Spanish, or you know what I mean? I mean, they do it for all the stupid press conferences and everything. It's like, I don't know. But what? I don't know. It was just kind of. So I haven't watched it, but I've seen some clips and stuff, and I don't know, it didn't look all that great. But why? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Why in Spanish? I don't get that. I think there was something I wanted to bring up, but I forgot. So, and everybody's like, what? Why? Why? Why Bad Bunny, who I didn't even know. I first learned who he was because the dude was in the Happy Gilmore 2. And my kids knew who he was. And they're like, that's Bad Bunny. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know, whatever, I was kind of upset that it wasn't the original homeless guy. But as his, his caddy. But I did a review for the Happy Gilmore 2. That's another video if you want to check it out. But so that was the first time I ever heard of him. And then I got all Bad Bunnies. I was like, oh, that's the guy from the movie. He's gonna play. And then so I mean, a lot of that outrage is, I don't know. I mean, and to be honest with you, it's like I said, I don't watch halftime shows. I can't remember watching a halftime show. I think I always would go and eat, and I mean, I might catch some. I haven't watched Super Bowl in like 6 years, 7 years. I can't remember. But when I did watch it, I don't remember watching the halftime show. So, I'm not trying to be like, hey. I remember in Living Color, they did an alternative halftime. So they had an episode of they had some of their skits during the halftime. And that was like early 90s. And I watched that. So it's not like this is the first time this has ever happened, I guess. But it was like kind of more of a conservative Christian messaging as opposed to an anti-American. And everybody's like, well, they're running around with the American flag and by the other flags. It's like, yeah, but why do you got to have the Puerto Rican flag? My my great grandparents immigrated from like Norway and Ireland, and so it's like my grandparents were born here, but most of my great grandparents were not. So I have like a lot of Norwegian bloodline in me, but I don't fly the Norwegian flag and be like Norway, and I'm American, so it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of annoying, retarded, I think. Anyway, it's like, no, I'm this, dude, you're American, right? I mean, if you were born there and you came over here, then I think you could be like, I'm Puerto Rican. And speaking of Puerto Rican, like almost 50% of the Puerto Rican population is on food stamps. Why do we have them? Why is Puerto Rico what do you call it? They're not a state, but they're, what's the word? You know, it's like it's a part of America, kind of, but they're not a state. They're kind of like how Hawaii was so long ago, but then they made Hawaii an actual state. Puerto Rico, and they want to separate. Hey, fine, because dude, half of them on welfare. Like, what is that about? I don't know. So I don't know. It's just they're always trying to be like a, but it's not even about that really. You know, I mean, there are people that like that's their concern. Like they're maybe political this and that. But the NFL, I mean, the NFL has been trying to spread, you know, American football worldwide for years, you know. I mean, they have the games in like England and what, Brazil, or they'll have a couple games, you know, um, out of country every year. And it's like they're trying to, it's just all about money, you know. I think that's what the NFL, I mean, they're kind of a woke company, but in the end, they don't really care one way or the other. They're just trying to get as many people to watch it as possible. And they want to be like football, because football is, you know, worldwide. It's not as big in the States as it is in other countries, but that's what they're trying to do. And it's just give it a rest, man. It's an American sport. It's American, not American pastime, but it's kind of it used baseball used to be the American pastime. But I would think it's safe to say that football has overpowered baseball as far as popularity and everything. I mean, for me, I like football just because it was easier. It was once a week or twice maybe. Um, Baseball, it's like every other day. I remember I spent one year when I was living with my friend, and he was big into baseball cards. He knew all that stuff, and so I started watching the games with him, and I even started watching them, and I got into them. And this was just a couple of years after the Mariners um, almost went to the World Series. They lost to the Yankees, if I remember right. This was like 96 or something like that. 97 maybe, I don't know, but there's so many games. It's just, you know, I didn't have, I don't know, it was like you watch the game and then like all of a sudden what, hey, you're gonna watch the game? It's like, what? We just watched it. What are you talking about? It's another game. It was just so much, you know. Same with basketball. It's just, man, I'm getting comfortable here. I'm like leaning back in my little rocker. I don't know, is this gonna work? Let me know. This is a little different than I keep covering my mouth. This is a little different than what I normally do, but oh great, dogs are barking. It's always a sign that there might be a cobra. I mean, I think he's barking at a dog that's in the field. You can kind of tell. But anyway, um, what was I talking about? So the the halftime show did that. Oh crap! See, I lost my tracks. Damn dog. Speaking of which, I gotta get him neutered. They got in a huge fight. Talked about that. Talked about that. Yeah. So it's just, I mean, that's, you know, NFL's just, they just care about money. So they're just trying to get as many people to get into it, you know. And I guess it works a little bit. It's, I think, you know, it is popular and worldwide, but not as much, not nearly as much as, you know, rugby or, yeah, soccer, football, or maybe even cricket. I know cricket's big in India, in Australia, I think. I've never really watched cricket. My oldest son, he was starting to learn and play rugby, and I was just starting to kind of watch some YouTube to learn it myself, but then we moved here. They actually play rugby here, but it's for him to play, he'd have to go to college in Manila. And nah, he's here going to school. So what's funny though, I just found out that as a nursing student, his second year he can take like a sports class, like a class to kind of learn how to do something or whatever, I guess. It's mandatory, like all students, whatever degree or whatever they're going after, their second year they have to do a sports thing. So whether baseball, soccer, swimming, badminton, or whatever, basketball. But nurses have to do swimming, which I thought was kind of crazy. Okay. And then next year they're going to start doing pickleball, which my last podcast I talked about how pickleball is everywhere now. I even asked my wife too just minutes ago. I was like, what is it that just got pickleball? Just crazy. Like, it just went from I didn't see it nowhere or nothing to I see it everywhere. Like, even on like Facebook, people, Filipinos that I know that I see, like, now there are all kinds of pickleball stuff. It's like what is going on? I just don't get it. I don't know. But nobody can answer it either. Um, Social media, I guess just something new. Filipinos are trendy. Something catching on, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, though. Oh, let's see. So what do you guys think of my little setup here? It's going to change again a little bit when I get getting a web camera, a good one. I don't know if I can have both cameras without, I think I have to have OBS if I want to do that. I don't want to do that. Because OBS slowed my crap down too. Man, let me know. Do I need to do the standard podcast kind of thing? I mean, I could do like, no, because what am I going to have two angles for myself? That's usually if you have like two people. Maybe I could do that and start having people here. I got enough room now. I guess I have to get some chairs. Be talking to people. I mean, could do it, I guess. But nobody here though. It wouldn't work because they wouldn't want to. If I talk to a Filipino, their nose is gonna bleed, as they say when they speak too much English, their nose starts to bleed. That's like a saying. So they wouldn't be really. I mean, there'd probably be some, but they want to talk to me on my podcast for my little. It's not like they're gonna get. I don't know, but I'd much rather talk to some old friends on Skype or something. I think about that sometimes. I was gonna do that a while ago, but somebody's here. Hold on, I'm doing a podcast. But I just never did. And I have some friends that are like, I don't want to do that. But there's probably some that I would have to set it all up though and actually do some work. What's that about? Don't want to be doing that. Looking to see who's here on the little camera. I think it's my oldest came back. But, I think it's my wife. I might have to cut this short here. Anyway, that's about my time. So, let me know as far as, audio, it's the same. But did you guys watch Super Bowl? What did you think of the halftime show? Did you watch it? Do you care? What do you think of my new setup? Is it better? Is it worse? Do you care? Let me know. But I appreciate you all hanging out. And I'll see you guys next time. All right. God bless. All right.